Hi, it's Nørgaard. Today I'm back with a new declutter video, and in today's video we are doing face palettes. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get right into the video. So as always, I'm going to start from the back and work outwards. And it's really annoying me that I can't get the drawer out any further than this. But yeah, that's how the e.l.f. drawer is. This is what we're working with. So anyway, let's just get started. So in the back here, I have a few of these Technique Color Max Face and Eyes palettes. All of these are fairly recent. I haven't used these two at all, and I've only used this once. So of course I'm going to keep these. I also have this e.l.f. palette. This is called the Total Face Palette. This one is gorgeous and perfect for lighter skin, so I'm going to keep this. Then I have my Technique Bronzer palette, which is another favorite of mine. So I'm keeping this. I also have this blush palette by Technique. This one is fairly new, so this one I'm going to keep. Then I have these two Iron Face palettes by Essence. These aren't like the most high quality, but they're also not the worst quality either. They're like pretty standard, and of course they're Essence, so they are really cheap. I have used these quite a bit just because they're so handy for traveling, because they have the blushes, the highlights, and the eyeshadows. So yeah, I think I will keep these as well. Then I have two other eyeshadow palettes from Essence. These have been on my radar to declutter for a long time now, so I think it's finally happening. So this is what one of them looks like. I know I have used this one at least once. The quality is okay, it's not amazing, but it's not absolutely terrible. And then this one I don't even think I have ever used. So yeah, I'm definitely going to finally declutter these. Then I have my Pretty Little Glitter palette by Technique. I love pressed glitter eyeshadows. So this one is like a combination of neutrals and blues, and I'm definitely keeping this. I also have this Too Faced, the Little Black Book of Bronzers. So this one contains a bunch of different Too Faced bronzers, and I absolutely love this because it gives you so much variety, so I'm definitely keeping this. Then I have this little Essence Be Kissed by the Moon palette. So again, it comes with eyeshadows and then two highlights. The texture on these vary a lot from each color. Some of these are very like chunky and like very powdery, and others are better and more smooth and just more pigmented. So it's not terrible, but it's not great. Okay, I think I'm going to get rid of this one just because I'm not really feeling it. Then finally in the back I have the second Carly Bible palette. So this one I have not used as much as I did the first one. The first Carly Bible palette I used so much. This one is a little less touched, as you can see. So yeah, I'm definitely going to keep this palette just because it's very like dear to my heart. Then I have this highlighter palette by e.l.f. Cosmetics. So this highlighter right here is like my all-time favorite highlighter. It just looks amazing on the skin. It doesn't really look that interesting in the pan, but on the skin it gives the most intense and beautiful glow that I have ever seen. Nothing, in my opinion, tops this highlight. I have used all the other highlights as well. Of course, these colors over here are colored, so they're not that like everyday friendly. And the white one down here, you would think that that would be like more blinding than the more yellow. But this one, I find it to be a little bit chunky. But yeah, I love this highlight. I'm obsessed. I'm going to keep this. Then I have this Technique Color Fix Cream Highlighter palette. This one I recently got and I'm going to keep it. But I think I should like move it into another compartment. Because in here, when I'm looking for stuff in here, I'm looking for like, you know, powder products. So having a cream highlighter palette in here just means I overlook it every single time. So I'm going to keep it, but I'm probably going to put it in one of my face product drawers. Then I also have the powder version of that highlighter palette. I have been very pleased with this palette so far, and yeah, I'm going to keep it. Then I have this NYX Contour and Highlight palette. This is a pretty good drugstore palette, but I still think it's a little expensive for what it is. I bought this because of the hype on YouTube, but it's not my all-time favorite highlight and contour palette. It's fine, but it's not anything mind-blowing, but I'm going to keep it. Then we have this little Maybelline bronzer and highlight palette. This one I have been pleased with so far, and I'm going to keep it. Then I have these two highlighter palettes by W7. These are dupes for the Anastasia Glow Kits. I love both of these. These are really good highlighter palettes. I'm going to keep them. Then I have 3 of these face palettes by Rimmel. I really like these. I love almost every single part in all 3 of them. So I'm going to keep them. Next up we have the highlighter palette from Rimmel. This one I don't really like. And I was pretty disappointed when I got it, just because I like the face palettes so much. But like this middle color here is very powdery and not very glowy and shimmery. The pink one is okay, but nothing spectacular. And then the kind of bronzy peachy color is probably the best out of the bunch. But it's a little too dark for me to use as a highlight, and also it's just, I think like 1 out of 3 colors being good is too little. So I think I'm going to declutter this. So next up we have another e.l.f. palette, and this looks like I have never even touched it. So this is the illuminating palette. It looks very strange just looking at it. Like this color almost looks like grayish, and the other ones, they don't look like they have a lot of like shimmer. But of course, as you can see, I haven't used it, so I need to use it to figure out if it's actually good or not. Next up I have this prismatic highlighting palette from W7. So it has some more like colorful highlights, and they have, all of them have like a duochrome look to them. Of course, I don't wear this every day, but I do like this palette, and it's nice for when you need that colored highlight to kind of set off your colored look. So I'm keeping this. Next up I have this Freedom Makeup contour and highlight palette. This I believe is supposed to be a dupe for a Lorac highlight and contour palette. And this one actually works really nicely. I like the colors in here. And yeah, the quality is very decent. So I'm keeping this. Next up we have this highlighter palette by Essence. This one I do not really like. These colors are very chunky and glittery and not like buttery and not very shimmery. So yeah, this one I'm decluttering. Then I have this Glow to Go highlighter palette from Essence. And this one is finally a highlighter palette from Essence that I actually like. These are actually beautiful, and they have a lot more of that like glowy, shimmery look to them. They're not chunky, not powdery. I love this color over here especially, but all of them are good. So this one I'm keeping. I also have this Benefit palette. So we just have some classic Benefit products. I love this. I'm definitely keeping this. Next up I have this palette from The Balm containing 3 different highlighters. And I think this is actually fake. I bought this on eBay and I wasn't being real careful. The Balm is not an easy brand to get your hands on in Denmark. So yeah, I bought it on eBay, and I do actually have the real Mary Luminizer. And from comparing the real Luminizer to this, I think this is a fake. It's not a terrible product, but it's just not the Balm quality, you know? So yeah, for that reason, I'm going to declutter this. Next up, we have this Revolution Radiance palette. So this is a dupe for Hourglass, like highlighting, strobing products. This one is beautiful. I don't use it enough, so I will keep this, and I need to remind myself to use this some more because it's gorgeous. I also have a blush palette by Revolution. So it looks like this. Again, it's beautiful and I don't use it enough, so I need to get on that. So I'm keeping this. Then I also have the original Shan XO palette. This one is also just a nostalgic palette for me, so I'm going to keep it. Then I have this Estee Lauder palette. So it comes with eyeshadows and 2 blushes. And by the way, I do have some like mainly eyeshadow palettes in this drawer. And that is one because I don't really have any more space in my other eyeshadow drawers. and also 2 because they all have either a blush and a highlight or something like that in the palette as well. So that's why I have like some palettes that are mainly eyeshadow. But anyway, I'm going to declutter this palette. I just don't reach for it. It doesn't excite me, so I'm decluttering this. Then I have my Technique blush palette. I love this. It's really good. I'm going to keep it. I also have this LA Colors little trio. This is actually so good. I have used this a lot. I love all 3 products in here, and I'm going to keep it. Next up, we have another Essence face palette. Unfortunately, this is another one that's not very good. This color does not have any pigment whatsoever. Like if you look at this and think this will be like a nice highlight or a nice blush or a nice like really shimmery blush, you would be wrong, because it shows up with like no color whatsoever. Also, this color in the middle, it looks kind of like a matte highlight, but it's very like powdery, so I don't really like that. And the contour color is honestly the best part about this palette. The contour color is decent, but again, I feel like when only 1 product out of 3 is good, that's just not good enough, you know. So I am going to declutter this one as well. Then I also have my Maybelline blush and highlight palette. This is a beautiful little palette. I'm going to keep this. Next, I have this ombre blush by Essence. This one I only got because it is ombre. It is a beautiful ombre. I think it looks really cute. And it is a nice blush actually. But it just doesn't really excite me anymore, you know. I definitely bought this on a whim because I wanted an ombre blush. And I kind of regret it now. But yeah, I'm going to declutter this. Someone else could get some good use out of this. Then I have 2 blush palettes by e.l.f. This is the light version, which is absolutely beautiful, and I'm going to keep it. And this is the dark, which is just as beautiful. And the colors are like these 3 I can definitely go get away with wearing. This one I have to be extremely careful, but 3 out of 4 colors that I can easily wear is good enough for me, so I'm going to keep this. Then I also have the original Carly Bible palette. I have used this a lot. I don't know if you can tell, but I've used it a lot. I used to be obsessed with like this color and this highlight. So I'm keeping this. I just love it. Then I have this Revolution, the Emily Edit palette. So this is the Needs. And I actually took this with me to Ghana and Italy. And unfortunately, it got completely like shattered. Like look at this, the mirror like broke off, the little plastic broke off here, plastic broke off of here. So the packaging got kind of shattered, but thankfully all the colors in here are okay. And yeah, I love this. The contour color is a little bit dark for my skin tone. I have to be careful when I use it. But other than that, I love everything about this palette. I love the blush, the highlight. I love this little what do you call it, like matte highlight. I love all the eyeshadows, so I'm going to keep it. Then I have these 2 Technique blush and highlight palettes. These are phenomenal. I love them so much. I'm going to keep both of these. Then I have this Rimmel blush palette. Just like with the highlighter palette, this one was really underwhelming to me. This is okay, but it's not phenomenal. So I think I'm going to declutter this as well. Then I have my 2 little beauty glazed highlighters. So these are dupes for the Kylighters by Kylie Cosmetics. These are pretty good. They were only like $1.50 or something like that. So I'm going to keep these. Then I also have this the Cheeky Trio by W7. This is actually beautiful. All of these colors are like very understated, but they're very beautiful. They remind me of like maybe like what is the name? Hourglass. So I'm going to keep this. Then I also have this Essence face palette. And this one is again a lot better than some of the other Essence palettes that I have showed you in this video. The highlight is pretty, the blushes are pretty, the bronzers are pretty. So I'm going to keep this. And finally we have this Too Faced blush palette. So it contains all these beautiful heart blushes. I love this, definitely going to keep it. Okay, so quite a big difference here. So what I did was that I of course took out everything that I decluttered, and I also took out the remaining 10 palettes that I had that contained eyeshadows, and I put them in my eyeshadow drawers. So it's kind of messy in my eyeshadow drawers now, but we will get to that next, okay? And then of course I took out my two like individual highlighters, these ones by Beauty Glazed, and I'm going to put these in my highlighter drawer. And finally I took out my cream highlighting palette, and I'm going to try and put this in another drawer. I'm not quite sure yet, I just don't want it in this drawer anymore because I just never use it when it's in here. So yeah, this is how it looks now. So I have my two big bronzer and blush palettes over here, and then I have everything lined up over here. So I have it lined up in a way where we go from like bronzer palettes to blush palettes to highlighter palettes to mixed face palettes. So that should hopefully make it a bit easier for me to find exactly what I'm looking for, because this drawer was really messy before. And here is everything that we decluttered. So 10 different palettes. That is pretty good, huh? I think this is probably the most I have ever decluttered in any of my declutter videos. But this drawer has also been the messiest so far, I think. So there were some things in here where I knew that they were just sitting around, like the products were just sitting around waiting to get decluttered. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think down below in the comments section. And don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe if you liked the video. And you can also click the bell to get post notifications. And that is all. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. So take care and bye bye.